8-month-old swallowed a button battery, but it didn't go all the way to her stomach. It got stuck in her esophagus, and over the next few days, it did something very disturbing to her. BB is a healthy baby who loves to play and giggle whenever she's fed. One day, her dad left home for work, just like every other day. And as usual, she was left in the care of her mother and their nanny. BB's mother was busy with house chores, and the nanny was preoccupied with a phone call in another room. Being an inquisitive child, BB began to explore. She had recently learned to crawl and was eager to satisfy her curiosity. Her small hands found their way onto the TV console, where a button battery had been carelessly left. It was small, shiny, and fascinating, the perfect object to catch a child's attention. BB picked up the battery, and without hesitation, she swallowed it. As soon as it went down, she felt discomfort and began to cry. A cry so intense and sudden, it filled the entire house. BB's mom rushed to the living room, scooped her into her arms, and tried to console her. But BB's cries only grew louder. Unknown to her mother, the button battery was already wreaking havoc inside BB's tiny body. BB's mother tried everything, but nothing worked. BB refused to eat, refused to sleep. She just kept crying and crying. But as hours passed, she ran out of energy and fell asleep. Later that evening, when BB's father returned home, he noticed something strange. The button battery pack that had been on the TV console looked out of place, but he couldn't recall if a battery had been missing before, so he just shrugged it off. After all, what harm could a missing battery cause? For the next few days, BB's condition worsened. Her parents assumed she had caught a common illness that babies often get at her age, perhaps a simple cold or teething pain. BB's mother decided it was time to visit the doctor. At the hospital, the doctor examined BB and attributed her symptoms to a viral infection. He prescribed medication, confident it would help BB recover. For days, her parents gave her the medicine as instructed, but BB's health continued to deteriorate. She became more lethargic, her skin pale and cold. Her once energetic cries were now feeble whimpers. This made her parents very desperate, so they started moving from hospital to hospital, hoping to get better answers. Yet, every diagnosis was the same, just a common illness, nothing to be alarmed about. But BB's parents knew something was terribly wrong. As the days dragged on, BB's condition grew worse, and the doctors seemed to be running out of answers. One day, during a casual conversation, BB's father mentioned his earlier suspicion about the missing watch battery. Instantly, the doctors considered the possibility that BB might have swallowed it, so they ordered an X-ray. Exposing infants to X-rays is something that is generally avoided due to their developing bodies being more sensitive to radiation than adults. The goal is to minimize any unnecessary exposure to such harmful rays. However, in emergency cases like this, when something foreign could be lodged inside the body, the benefits far outweigh the risks. The X-ray results revealed the horrifying truth. A small, round battery was lodged in BB's throat. By now, it had been days since BB swallowed it, and the battery was already starting to corrode. The doctors knew they had to act fast. They attempted to remove the battery manually, but each time they tried, the battery slipped back down. It was stuck deep in BB's esophagus, and her small size made the procedure incredibly difficult. They considered surgery, but performing surgery on an infant is always risky. First, an infant's organs and tissues are extremely delicate, making it harder to operate without causing unintended damage. Second, anesthesia in babies is much more complicated to administer and monitor due to their rapid heart rates and underdeveloped respiratory systems. Lastly, the body's ability to recover from such invasive procedures is slower in babies compared to adults. But as BB's condition worsened, the risks no longer mattered. The battery had started leaking corrosive chemicals, burning through the tissues of her esophagus. The battery wasn't just the only problem now. BB's stomach acids had begun to leak into her body through the damaged areas, causing even more harm. The esophagus is a vital structure, connecting the throat to the stomach, and any damage to it could result in the contents of the stomach leaking into the surrounding organs. In BB's case, The battery had eroded a hole in the lower end of her esophagus. The acid, meant to break down food, was now spilling out into BB's chest cavity, burning through soft tissues and vital organs. As time passed, BB's body began to betray her. The medical team knew surgery was her last hope, so they made the difficult decision to operate her. But as they prepared for the surgery, BB's body began to shut down. The doctors tried and tried to stabilize her, but it was too late. The acid had caused too much damage, and BB's organs started to fail one by one. Eventually, she succumbed to her injury. Button batteries like the one BB swallowed are found in many household items: watches, toys, remote controls, even greeting cards. But these small, seemingly harmless objects can cause severe injuries when swallowed, particularly in children. When lodged in the esophagus, the battery's electrical charge reacts with bodily fluids, creating a corrosive substance that eats away at tissue. In BB's case, it was a matter of days before the battery caused fatal damage. If you have kids at home, keep any potential dangers out of their reach. And when buying battery-powered toys, choose those with a secure screw cover on the battery compartment. Share this story to help spread awareness and potentially save a life.